morning, my friends, and welcome to another stupendous installment. 8 days until Santa Claus. That's right, 8 days until the fat man comes. From very high above, all the puerile and insipid forms of Wyoming mainstream media, this is Cowboy State Politics. I, of course, am your illustrious host, David Iverson, firmly ensconced behind the silver Cowboy State Politics microphone and broadcasting to you from the base of the Bighorns at the Cowboy State Politics studio in Sheridan, Wyoming. Good morning, my friends, and welcome to the program. Happy Wednesday. Pretty easy duty today. This morning on the live program, I talked about the exploits of Sheridan County Commissioner Nick Siddle. Evidently, Nick believes that the proper way to respond to a constituent who is criticizing him is to run to the media and make up stuff that never really happened. Because that's what he did. In a very recent Sheridan County Commissioner meeting, our pal Harry Pollock got up and asked Commissioner Siddle about his use of a county vehicle for his own personal uses. You see, Nick Siddle took a county vehicle, paid for the gas with a county gas card, and went to Casper to lobby on behalf of the Wyoming County Commissioners Association. In the meeting, Harry wasn't accusatory. Actually, he was pretty nice. Harry even said that he didn't think Nick Siddle did all of this on purpose. I happen to disagree. I think that Nick thought he could pull one over on all of us Sheridan County taxpayers. And given his reaction to being criticized, I think I might be right about that. Instead of addressing his constituents' concerns like a grown-up would, Nick Siddle ran to Sheridan media and told them a whole bunch of stuff that really didn't happen. Siddle claimed that Harry attacked and vilified him in his comments. Words mean things, and those two are pretty pointed. There's quite a bit to this story, and I talked about it during today's live program, and since I am a big fan of not recreating the wheel, here's that segment of this morning's live program about Sheridan County Commissioner Nick Siddle. Here you go. Merry Christmas, Nick, and don't miss any of the episodes of the show.
You're expanding faster than Christy Alley at Christmas time.
I'm expanding faster than Nick Siddle at a dining room table. Speaking of Nick Siddle and politicians who ought to keep their mouths shut, Nick is one of those. He is a Sheridan County Commissioner. And before I even begin this, Nick, you're welcome to come on the program. Not that I think that you will, because every single time I've asked you for a comment, you've not given me one. So it's interesting that you run to the politically favorable Sheridan media for all of your bullcrap that you want to spread around. So let me just set this up for you. Back in August, I ran a story about how Nick Siddle went to a joint transportation committee meeting and advocated to raise your taxes. He absolutely did. In fact, he wanted to jack up the gas tax about 20%. Now, of course, he's looking out for the citizens of Sheridan County. That's what he does as a Sheridan County Commissioner, is he represents all of the people. Well, if that were true, he wouldn't be advocating to raise your taxes. Well, he got called on it because it turns out he took a county vehicle, used the county gas card to pay for the gas, signed in at the legislative committee under the Wyoming County Commissioners Association, and told the committee that he was there as the chairman of the County Commissioners Association Transportation Committee.
The significance, of signing in is what?
It tells the legislature and everybody else who you are representing.
Who you are lobbying for.
Yes.
So he's using county monies to go lobby the legislature.
He absolutely is. All right, so let's begin with what he said back in August. Now, I've got a piece of video for you here when he was in front of the county commission, and he tells everybody what he's going to be doing for the weekend, as if anybody really gives a crap what his weekend plans are. He already goes hunting on property that nobody else really knows that they can hunt on. But anyway, he tells the county commission that he's going to go to Casper. Ken, go ahead and play the video. It's August 18th SCC meeting.
Mr. Siddle. Just that we already got a couple items for public posting. Yes, if anybody has anything pressing they'd like us to put on public post Thursday. We have that available. And I will be out tomorrow to go to the State Joint Legislative Transportation Committee meeting in Casper. That's looking at our agenda for tomorrow. As long as we have a quorum, it looks like we'll be fine. So I will be going to Casper for an exciting, fun-filled day of listening to legislation.
Okay, two things here. He doesn't say that he's going to Casper to represent the interests of the county. He doesn't say that he's going there to tell the committee, the transportation committee, what Sheridan residents think. Sheridan citizens, rather. Nope, he doesn't say any of that. In fact, what he does say is that he's going to, quote, listen to the committee. He doesn't say he's going to testify. He doesn't say who he's testifying on behalf of. Well, the truth is, he went to the legislature and drove a county vehicle using county gas to lobby for the Wyoming County Commissioners Association. So the question is, does a county commissioner represent people everywhere that they go? You are a county, Ken, you are an elected representative. Are you representing your constituents everywhere you go?
I'd like to hope so.
Okay, all right.
But
so
the
maybe,
the truth is, for example, if I go to church, I'm not playing that game there.
right. Now, here's my question. I want to know if Nick Siddle was representing the Sheridan County citizens when he was drunk at the bar at the Blacktooth Brewery. I'd love to know if he was representing me in his full capacity there, or if he was representing me when he was advocating for jacking up my taxes at the legislature. Now, here is what he said in front of the legislature. Now, I want you to pay attention to a couple of things here. First, I want you to listen for if he ever said what Sheridan County citizens want. And I also want you to pay attention to who he says he's representing. Play the video, Siddle at the legislature.
Thank you. I'm Nick Siddle. I'm the chairman of the Wyoming County Commissioners Association Transportation Committee, and I'm from Sheridan. One thing I've heard a whole lot of talk about why dot this and why dot that during this discussion, and I just want to make certain that you understand that there is a formula. They showed the formula up there earlier, and out of that approximately $35 million per year that would be received by the nickel tax, YDOT said $22.5 million would go to them. $5.7 million would also go to counties, $2.2 million to the county road fund, $3.3 million to the cities, and then $638,000 to the state parks, and that's just an approximation based on your current formula. But I would remind you that there are hundreds and hundreds of miles more of county roads and city streets than there are state highways. And so I just want to remind you of that this also helps, certainly doesn't bail out. 5.7 million spread across all the counties in Wyoming doesn't do a heck of a lot of good, but it's there for the asking. And you know, for example, Sheridan County, we have a fairly small budget. Our budget is around $22 million a year. We were just looking at paving some roads. It costs $2 million a mile to pave a county road. When you've got a $22 million budget in your county, I can guarantee you how many roads get paved, and that'd be zero, because you just don't have the money. But helping, anything we can do to help. I realize I think you're on an uphill battle. I'm a member of the Farm Bureau too, by the way, but you're welcome, Brett. Yeah. But I mean, I think you've got an uphill battle. I know some of my legislators, and I know that you're going to have an uphill battle to get anything that has the word tax through. But I do think that this is something to get a foot in the door and get started. So,
all right.
Anyway,
That's enough of that. By the way, Nick Siddle, you should get used to hearing the word no. Anyway, here is the sign-in sheet from that committee meeting where you can see that Nick Siddle signed in for the Wyoming County Commissioners Association. Whoopsie-daisy. It doesn't say Sheridan County on there. It doesn't say Sheridan County Commission. It says WCCA.
Now, he is chairman of that organization, but they do have Jeremiah Ryman. And
yes,
it's his responsibility to do this lobbying. Now, perhaps, out of fairness, perhaps Jeremiah wasn't available that day, and they made some agreement. I don't
Maybe.
know, but
Yeah.
and he's absolutely right about one thing.
What is that?
Some of the legislators from Sheridan County ain't going to fall for that.
No. There's not going to be any falling for increasing taxes. So it's very clear from the video who he's advocating for, who he's lobbying on behalf of. It's very clear that, I mean, I didn't hear one time in there where he says Sheridan County residents want you to jack up the tax rates. He doesn't say that. Now, he does refer to Sheridan County, but it's clear from the video that he's not there on my behalf or Ken's behalf or Chairman Temple's behalf. Nuh-uh. Nope. None of that crap.
Just as another aside, why is it assumed that a paved road is better than a gravel road?
Yeah,
I could give you a lot of arguments for the latter.
I don't slip and slide too much on a gravel road like you do on a sheet
Well,
of
you
ice.
slow down.
Well, yeah, that
And,
too.
and there's a point to that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's just certain assumptions, and one of those assumptions that really irritates me is the more growth, the better.
Yes.
We've got to have growth.
Well, and I mean, maybe that's a topic for another time. But I think you're right, Ken. I mean, we make awful lot of assumptions. And one of the assumptions that Nick Siddle made is that nobody was going to go back and put all of this together. But one Sheridan County resident did, and it's my pal named Harry. And so Harry says, I think this is wrong. It's very clear that Nick Siddle was lobbying on behalf of the Wyoming County Commissioners Association. And so he exercised a couple of his First Amendment rights. Usually when we talk about the First Amendment, we think about your freedom of speech, which that's absolutely true. There's one of them. But the last one that's mentioned in the First Amendment is to petition your government for a redress of grievances. That is, when you're a citizen and you think that your government has done something wrong, you have a right to go in front of them and say, look here, pal, I think you were way out of line, which is exactly what our friend Harry did. Here is exactly what Harry said in front of the Sheridan County Commission. Play it.
All right, good morning. My name is Harry Pollock, resident of Sheridan. And, one of the things that I've been doing since I've been here in Sheridan a little over 4 years now is holding electeds accountable.
Okay, so pause it just for a second.
This issue particularly is one that I'm sure...
I know you hate it when I do that. But I forgot to mention something. So if you know Harry, he is very straightforward. If you don't know him, you might think that on occasion he's being rude. He's not. Okay, he's just a very straightforward person. It's just Harry, right? Yeah. I mean, it's very black and white. And but if you knew him and you're watching this video, you would absolutely know that he's being very, very gracious, that he's being very nice. So let's go ahead and play this. Go ahead and hit play again, Ken, and we'll listen to the rest of it.
It was an oversight. I don't think there was any malice or intent here, but I just wanted to bring it up to your attention that, on the 18th of August, Commissioner Siddle was going to go down to Casper for a joint committee. What wasn't said was that he was going to be going down there as a representative for WCCA, Wyoming
Which he
County
did.
Commissioners Association, at which he then lobbied against taxpayers for a 10-cent fuel increase. The issue that really is concerning me anyway is that funds were used, the tax or the fuel WEX card of $41 and some odd cents. And then the use of the county vehicle, the Jeep Wagoneer. And so I think just for transparency's sake and for keeping things clean, that since, Commissioner Siddle didn't go down there representing the county, he was representing a association or lobbyist, then those funds should be reimbursed. So it's about 300 miles to Casper.
Round trip is what he meant.
And then, of course, the $41.71 for the fuel, we're looking at about $251 that should be reimbursed to the county for, towards taxpayers. And I just want to close with a quote from John Adams, that government is instituted for the common good, not for profit, honor, or private interest of any one man, family, or class of men. And basically, Adams was advocating that the government needed a system of checks and balances to prevent tyranny for the common good. The latter part of the quote argued against corruption. And, I don't want that to be confused that, like I said, I don't think, Commissioner Siddle intentionally did anything wrong. I just wanted to bring it to the attention and get the matter corrected.
Didn't seem like he was being very nasty at all, did it? We'll continue after the break, but first, an absolutely outrageous exposition of pure capitalism. Today's installment of Cowboy State Politics is brought to you by Rebecca Bextel at eXp Realty. Land is at a premium, my friends. As your grandpa used to say, buy some. They're not making any more of it. Your grandpa was right. But if you think you're going to be buying a chunk of property, you need a real estate agent that you can trust. And that agent is Rebecca Bextel at eXp Realty. She sold everything from small residential properties all the way up to big, gigantic ranches. So it doesn't matter what you're thinking about buying or selling for that matter, give Rebecca a call. Her phone number is 307-699-3519. One more time, 307-699-3519. Today's show is also brought to you by Morton Buildings. When you drive by a Morton building, you can tell immediately. The building quality is obvious when you look at it, even everything down to the paint. The quality is just that good. You can tell it from a distance. So if you're thinking about a building for your property, it doesn't really matter whether it's a garage or maybe something gigantic like a roping arena. You should call Marcos and Jesse at Morton Buildings. Their phone number is 307-674-2532. Again, that phone number is 307-674-2532, or you can always go to their website, mortonbuildings.com. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you sign up for the weekly newsletter. It's called The Outrider. In it, I give you a rundown of everything that's happening on the program, and it gives you and I a chance to communicate in a different way. There's just some people that don't want to listen to podcasts. I personally don't know any of those people, and they may just be a little bit misguided. But evidently, or so I've been told, those people do exist, and the Outrider is a perfect way for them to get their news in written form. All you got to do is go to the website, cowboystatepolitics.com, put your email address in the pop-up, and hit submit, and it's a done deal, my friends. And now, back to the very abusive, very misguided, and dare I say, near treacherous Sheridan County Commissioner Nick Siddle. So a couple of questions here. We all know Harry. Was he in any way being offensive? Was he being mean? Was he being derogatory?
No, absolutely not.
No.
He was so calm and respectful, and the Harry I know from 4 years ago, that's different approach.
Yeah. And he very clearly says, I don't really think that there was any sort of corruption here. I don't think that he meant to do anything wrong. He says that a couple of times. And so I don't see that you could take those comments to mean anything other than, hey, I think there was something wrong here. Let's get it corrected. Ken, what do you think?
He mentioned the word tyranny. And some people are going to listen to that and think that's kind of over the top. We're talking tyranny. He went down. But that's how it starts.
Yes.
It creeps. There is a lack of I would call it complete openness. The fact that he said he went down there and lobbied against the taxpayer,
which he did,
in my view, is absolutely true.
Yeah.
But that's how these things start. And for so many years, people have been able to get away with it. There's been a lack of transparency, especially at the county commissioner level, but all over government. And the more that we bring transparency to light, the more issues are brought up and the more divisive we are said to be, and the less we're. A lot of people say, "You guys just don't know what you're doing."
Yeah.
Well, if by you know what you're doing, you're going to do things the way things have always been done. No, we're not going to do it that way. And so that is perceived as we don't know what we're doing. We know exactly what we're doing. There was another comment made not too long ago about how myself and those of my ilk are going to destroy this county. We're going to try to destroy what they had going on for a long time. Absolutely.
Yeah, and rightfully so. All right, so back to Harry. Now, the word that is going to be used in Nick Siddle's response is vilify. Did our friend Harry vilify Nick Siddle in any way?
No.
No, right? I mean, there's no way that you can look at his comments and draw that conclusion. Okay, so Harry got up in front of the county commission on December 2nd. Today is December 17th, so a little bit more than 2 weeks ago. Now, it was just yesterday that Sheridan Media, or I guess, I think it was Sheridan Media, they wrote an article how a citizen, confronts the county commission. I don't remember the exact phraseology that they used, but there was an article about what Harry said. And Nick Siddle decided to respond. Now, before we play this soundbite, a couple of things. First, I personally think there is something wrong with this recording. Let me explain. It's very clear when you listen to it, and okay, I shouldn't say very clear. To me, it's very clear that there are two things happening with it. There is some weird background noise that's happening. I think what happened is it was a voicemail that was played over a microphone, because you hear some, it sounds like somebody's moving their fingers on a microphone. It kind of sounds like this. Something like that. Second thing, I think the recording has been edited. And if you listen to the phraseology that Nick Siddle uses, there's some awkward transitions. And I think what may have happened is that parts of whatever was in there got deleted. There he is. Commissioner Nick Siddle responds to comments. So now let's play for you the Nick Siddle's response. This one infuriates me. Play it.
Recently, a news story was published on Sheridan Media and their website titled "Citizen Speaks to Sheridan Commissioners on Holding Electeds Accountable." The reference made in the article and the recorded reference from the December 2nd Sheridan County Commission meeting state that Commissioner Siddle went to the Joint Transportation Committee meeting representing the Wyoming County Commissioners Association, and as such was not representing Sheridan County, therefore should not have driven Sheridan County Transportation to the meeting. I am County Commissioner representing Sheridan County, Nick Siddle. I have served Sheridan County for 7 years and serve on the Wyoming County Commissioners Association Board of Directors and serve as the association's Transportation and Veteran Affairs Chairman, representing Sheridan County. Obviously, one cannot belong to or represent WCCA without first being a locally elected county commissioner, and I am proud to have been included in a position of leadership, which I hope Sheridan County constituents would support, not vilify. When asked to testify at the meeting, I began by stating that I didn't think an increase in fuel tax had much chance of passing in our current legislature. While most discussion had centered around YDOT's budget shortfall, I reminded legislators that the formula does allocate money to counties, municipalities, and the state park system for transportation infrastructure, which is sorely lacking. Rather than attack me for attending and testifying at the meeting, I would hope that our local constituents would spend their efforts in working on helpful ideas rather than tear down those who research and try to help solve problems. Thank you.
Attacking. Was there anything that Harry said that attacked Nick Siddle?
No. And let me add this too, David.
Go
because
ahead.
I have sat in so many county commission meetings in 23 and 24 where I had to be there for staff meetings on Mondays and then the every other Tuesday meetings. Harry's come in quite a bit for different things on and off. He's never been disrespectful. He's just direct. And the thing is they don't like somebody that will just come out and lay it all out there.
They don't like being questioned.
Exactly. That's the issue.
And so to say that a citizen, one of your constituents, is A, vilifying you, I mean, there is no vilifying that's happening here. You're being called on the carpet for something you did that was wrong.
Nobody called him a slanderer.
Nobody called him a slanderer like they called James. He didn't vilify him. He didn't attack him. None of that. And so, Nick Siddle, you did wrong. And what you should do is apologize and cut a check for $241 and just be done with it. But instead, you go to the media and attack your constituent, which is what you did. The only attacking that's happening here, the only vilifying that's happening here is what you're doing to one of your constituents. How dare you? How dare you? I mean, I am incensed that you would say that to the media. Now, if you'd like to talk about attacks, here's one for you, Nick Siddle. So the Wyoming County Commissioners Association is headed by this gal named Natalia Macker. Notice I didn't call her a lady. Natalia Macker is a Democrat county commissioner from Jackson, from Teton County. Now, when she was elected, she was the only person nominated. Now, think about this. There are very, very few Democrat county commissioners in the state of Wyoming. I think there may only be 4 of them, maybe 5 of them. I don't know. It's a very, very small number. So you have a room packed with county commissioners who ostensibly are all part of the County Commissioners Association, and they're electing leadership. Now, wouldn't you think? Let's ask our GOP chairman. Chairman Temple, don't you think that a Republican ought to nominate a Republican to lead an organization?
It would make sense if you actually believe in the platform that we stand on.
Oh, yeah. So can you imagine a scenario where one solid Republican, good conservative Republican, would nominate a Democrat?
No.
No, that just wouldn't happen, right?
No, it just doesn't make sense.
But it did happen in the Wyoming County Commissioners Association meeting. There was only one person that was nominated, and that was Democrat Natalia Macker from Teton County. Now, Nick Siddle, if you call yourself a Republican, which you do, by the way, you, as far as I know, been a Republican for a really long time, and yet you don't nominate another Republican to lead an organization that you admittedly are very, very, very proud to be in leadership, doesn't that kind of mean that you're not a Republican? Not really one anyway. Maybe a redcoat. Yeah, that term kind of fits. That you act like a Democrat, you vote for a Democrat, which kind of means you're a Democrat. If it looks like a donkey and votes like a donkey, it's a donkey. There you go, Nick. You may have one of those running around your property. Now, let me just show you a picture of Ms. Natalia Macker, the Democrat from Jackson. I'm sure everybody was just going to be love to see this. Show it. Not him. He's a Republican. There we go. So on the right there is the Democrat county commissioner from Jackson. That is Natalia Macker. And on the left is Gretchen Whitmer, the Democrat governor of Michigan. And look at all the smiles. They are so happy to be together.
I love the Harris Waltz.
Yeah. Isn't that great? Now, Nick Siddle, obviously, you were in favor of Natalia Macker being the president of the Wyoming County Commissioners Association, and evidently you're in favor of her association with Gretchen Whitmer, which kind of means that you act just like a Democrat. Let me give you one more if you're interested in somebody going after you. On cowboystatepolitics.com, on the show content page, you'll find a list of, and let me just pull these up here real quick. You'll find a list of all of the bills from last session. Oh, there's the pop-up for the Outrider. Anyway, here, I can show you again. Hold on. See, I'm getting too excited.
Are you sure?
I'm sure
you can drive this thing.
I can. Here we go. All right, so here's the website. There it is. The pop-up for the Outrider. You should sign up for that. But if we go to the show notes page, here is, why is it not? There we go. All right. So if we pulled up this file, here's a list of all of the bills that the Wyoming County Commissioners Association opposed or supported. And how many of those do you suppose are about taxes?
I can tell you from my perspective, they send us that list all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that, well, not entirely the case. I go down that list, and my votes are almost exactly the opposite.
I encourage you to go through and look at this one And you'll find all sorts of things that, as a conservative legislator, you would be in favor of or totally against. One of those being taxes. And I encourage you to go look through this list. Obviously, I got handed this list by somebody. I get a lot of documents handed to me. A lot of them related to things that a county commissioner would be involved in. So, Republican County Commissioner Nick Siddle, you, sir, owe the citizens of Sheridan County an apology. You, sir, owe us $241, and we'll take a check tomorrow. If you want, I'll come and take a picture of it so that we have documentation that you actually wrote it. And you, sir, need to stop attacking your constituents.
Now, while we're at it, can we get them to paint some lines on the roads?
I would love that. It costs so much money to pave a road. This guy just infuriates me. So there you have it. Siddle owes all of us an apology. Specifically, he owes one to Harry Pollock, and he owes us a check for $241. Oh, and Nick, as you went to the media to bash your constituent, we would like you to go to the media to issue your apology. Yeah, I don't think the chances on that happening are actually very good, but he definitely should issue an apology. Well, that'll about do it for today's installment of the broadcast. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk again on Saturday. But for now, from the base of the Bighorns at the Cowboy State Politics Studio, I'm David Iverson, and this is the one and only Cowboy State Politics.